and affects the pleasure. And therefore, they're reminded of their old behavior, and then they end up turning back to the alcoholism. So what I'm saying is, he's assuming that everybody's going to be perfect every time before their loved one. And that's his big mistake. Again, it's not rooted in practical everyday life. This is okay for someone who likes to read logic at home. But it is okay if you're a nice middle-class person and you've got lots of time to read logic. And it's very good and it's helpful to get us to think about it. And it has thought. But it's not okay when it hits real life. And he doesn't realise that.
Okay, you overran a little bit there, Jason, but as I say, I didn't want to interrupt you. I think what we'll do is allow Negation of B to come back briefly on that point. Then we'll take our 5-minute break. And what I was also going to suggest is the next section that you have down is a back and forth for 10 minutes. Seeing as that we've run short on previous sections, do you want to extend that maybe to 20 minutes? Because that might be more interesting. And then, whilst you're thinking about that, can I just remind people that the last 30 minutes is going to be a question and answers from the audience. If you would like to ask either of the two speakers a question, either live, you can send a contact request to Magic Sandwich Show. Or alternatively, if you do not want to appear, you can send a question to me on Blog TV. Please pose it as a question, not a statement, and then I will use my discretion. So, Negation, did you want to come back very briefly, and then we'll take the 5-minute break?
I'd love to, but I don't know. I mean, Jason, is that fair? Did I get an extra kind of bite at the apple, so to speak?
Well, Jason overran a little bit, so I'm trying to be as diplomatic as I can be.
Oh, I see what the deal is. The only thing I'd say is that was all great information, but again, it didn't speak to the question at hand at all, as far as I could tell. So
okay, well, let's leave it at that. We'll take the 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and say, do you want to do 20 minutes to and fro?
Dr. Jones, okay, we do 10, please.
Yeah, no problem, we'll do 10. That was what we originally agreed. Okay, we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Alright, going live. Okay, we're live.
Okay, welcome back everyone, or if you're here for the first time, you're joining a live academic debate between the YouTube users Negation of B and Jason Burns. The topic is, why do you behave as you do when you know God is watching? We're now having what is referred to as a 10-minute back and forth, and then we'll be taking questions from the audience. I say, if you would like to ask us a question, either send a contact request through Skype to Magic Sandwich Show, or post me, DPR Jones, a PM on the Blog TV, and I will read the question out for you. Okay, so 10 minutes back and forth. I don't know whether we need to toss a coin to see who goes first, or whether you'd like to decide between you.
It's fine with me.
Okay, I'll decide for you. Jason, you can start.
Okay, thanks.
You might want to unmute your microphone.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Jones. I'm just going to read the psalm and then just ask a question about it, if that's okay. It says, Psalm 51. It says, "Have mercy upon me, O God, according to your loving kindness, according to the multitude of your tender mercies. Blot out my transgressions, wash me thoroughly from my iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgression, and my sin is always before me. Against you, you only have I sinned, and done this evil in your sight, that you may be found just when you speak, and blameless when you judge. Behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin my mother conceived me. Behold, you desire the truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden parts you will make me to know wisdom. Purge with me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me hear joy and gladness, that the bones you have broken may rejoice. Hide your face from my sins, and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Do not cast me away from your presence, and do not take your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and uphold me by your generous spirit. Then I will teach transgressors the ways, and sinners shall be converted to you. The context of that psalm is King David was a king. He loved God, but then he was having a relaxing time at home. He saw Bathsheba. He fancied her. He thought, I like this. I want a bit of crumpet. And he sent Uriah, Bathsheba's husband, off to war. Purposely made sure that he got killed. Then he had his way with Bathsheba. Then the prophet Nathan cornered him and pointed his finger at him and said, you're the man, you sinned. And in his brokenness, David repents, and this is the psalm. Now, the question I asked to negation of P, did David believe in God because he'd done that sin?
Okay, we've got that. Negation.
I actually love Psalm 51. That speaks absolutely perfect to this thought experiment. Would I say that David believed in God if, number one, again, we're talking out of a book that, let's say, I don't quite believe is real, but again, I'm going to give you that it is real for this argument. I would say no. In the same way that I will not step out of the airplane at 30,000 feet because I believe gravity exists, he would not sin in front of Uriah, but he still sinned in front of God. So I love your analogy, Jason, because it talks exactly to what I'm talking about. As a human, David knew that if Uriah was present, he would have hell to pay. Potentially Uriah would kill him, or there would be other things to do. Not to mention just how bad he would feel, because if you remember what the relationship between David and Uriah were, they were friends. And if he had to have done that in front of him, it would have cost him pain to the point where I don't know if he would have been capable of doing it. Now again, I know this is subjective because I don't know what he could have done in front of that person. But what I'm saying is this speaks exactly to the argument. You have demonstrated that David does not have the capacity to commit that sin, at least in front of Uriah, but will do it without question in front of God. So we are perfect, Jason. We're perfect when there's another person present. That's the perfection argument. You cannot, at least I don't know of people, that if they believe something is wrong, will do that.
In a moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
In a moment.
Yeah, it's back and forth. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Mr.
Let him finish.
No, I was done. That's fine. Go ahead, Jason.
Okay, Jason.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. Sorry, negation. You said, I quote, you said, you were perfect before Uriah. What about if he has Bathsheba in his brain? What implications does that have? If Uriah's there, but David's having his wicked way with Bathsheba in his head.
Okay.
You know, he's still before. He's still. No, the next thing is.
Jason, wait, no. We're not going to do the Ganesh Gallop.
We're going to stop. Both of you, please. Jason, you made a point. Let negation deal with that point, one at a time.
All right. So the point is now we're talking about thought crimes. Again, if Uriah knew what David was thinking, and David was aware of that, let's say that instead of thinking, because the thought crime aspect is a little, let's say, out there. What I'm saying is let's say that he's talking about doing it with his friend or even just talking to himself. Uriah walks in and he figures out that Uriah can hear what he's talking, what he's thinking, whatever. I guarantee you he stops, just as if anybody else would, because it's his friend. He doesn't want to harm that individual. He can't bring himself to do it in the face of another person. And the only place that we have to worry about thought crimes, Jason, is in the book that you're talking about. So unless we can get past this and you can show me why you will not commit the act physically, because that's what the argument speaks to. We're not going to go into thought crimes.
Okay, well, you seem to have tickled Jason, so let's see what he has to say.
It's just, I just love it. I just absolutely love it. Negation, you're just like, I mean, I mean, it's just not. I mean, come back to this reality thing. I mean, he's not. I mean, first of all, David would sit in front of Bathsheba. He would manipulate Uriah and get him dead, and then he'd have his wicked way with Bathsheba. And the problem is there. He knows. David knows God is watching. He knows God's watching, but he can't help himself. He wants a bit of crumpet, you know, because that's his weakness.
Hey, Jason,
I haven't finished. Please, can I just finish? He wants a bit of crumpet. And the second thing is this bringing in Uriah all the time and getting someone, you know, I don't know where you live, Negation of P, but I don't...
Well, rather than get personal, let him perhaps address the point. He wanted a bit of crumpet. What's wrong with that? Negation.
Okay. Well, the problem is that it injures. Okay, I want to change the topic. I want to kind of change this around a little bit because maybe it'll help. Okay, number one, why would that infidelity be wrong? Well, there's a thousand different explanations we can go into and get into objective versus subjective morality and all of that crap. I don't care. Let's say that I give you every point that yes, it was wrong. You're still not able to explain to me, Jason, why he, or more importantly, what the entire premise of the argument was, why you will be perfect in front of other people. You say that I'm not dealing with reality. Jason, you're the one who has, I mean, maybe I'm wrong on this. When you're in another room with somebody and there's something that you feel is unethical, you will do that act in front of them, yes or no?
Jason.
Could you say that again? Could you ask that question again, I guess you please? Sorry.
What it boils down to, Jason, is that with Uriah and David, it's the same thing as you and potentially your mother or somebody else. David couldn't do it. You're telling me that I'm not dealing with reality, when the reality is every person on the planet acts just like David did, including you. So again, why don't you commit unethical acts in front of people when they're aware of it? You say that I'm not dealing with the reality. That is the reality, Jason.
It's not reality, Negation. People do, you know. I don't know. Take anger, Negation. Take anger, right? Someone comes into the room. You want them to really feel good about you, okay? And you're about to get angry, and you see them, and you stop. Okay, and you do that perfectly all the time, and you love that person. But you come home from work, you're having a stressful day, you're going to blow your top. It's just human, you know. You're not going to. This is the point. You're just not. You're not in reality. This is a logical construct that you've done, you know. And it only works if you can try and pin down a special sin like masturbation. No normal person in their right mind is going to masturbate before their parents. And you've put that 3 times in your video, okay? No one in the right mind's going to do that. So if
can I just clarify something? It might be helpful. I don't want to get bogged down in masturbation, but I think you just said masturbation was a sin. Is that right? I just said it was a sin. Yeah.
I
just wanted to clarify whether you meant that or whether it was a slip of the tongue.
It's irrelevant, Mr. Jones. The point is, he used it 3 times, okay? And I'm just using it.
Wait a second. To be clear, I also used stealing and lying 3 times. And what
No. You're not getting away with that, Negation. You're not getting away with that. You're not getting away with that. Come on. 3 times you used it, bro.
Well, pause there, gentlemen, please. Pause there.